Alright, so in my last video I list out the goals that I have for 2024, but in this video I actually want to reflect back on 2023 and talk about some of the mistakes that I've done over the year. Now, some of these mistakes have actually helped me grow as a human being, but honestly, most of the mistakes that I've done kind of just remind me or show me that I'm somewhat of a dumbass, because a lot of the mistakes I do is really, really stupid. But anyways, without further ado, let's just go right into the mistakes that I have done in 2023. And just FYI, there's no particular order. These are just going off the top of my head and the mistakes that I remember that I made last year. So I want to start off with me not taking an immigration class in law school. Last year I was in my third year of law school, and I actually had a decent amount of free time that I could have possibly taken an extra class if I wanted to, and I really, really regret not taking an immigration class. The reason why I didn't take the immigration class is because I was just so reluctant to take it, since everybody around me, it seems like they were just expecting me to become an immigration lawyer whenever I said that I wanted to be a lawyer growing up. And one way or another, that just made me very against wanting to learn anything about immigration law, since people had categorized me into this type of lawyer. That I don't really know why. I don't know if it's the fact because I'm Latino, or the fact that I'm an immigrant myself, or the fact that I have a lot of family that are immigrants. Like, I have no idea why. But a lot of people would always assume that I wanted to be an immigration lawyer growing up, and that was just really never the case. I had no idea what type of law I wanted to be. You know, what type of law I wanted to get into and what type of lawyer I wanted to be. But everybody around me just seemed to assume that I already knew that I wanted to go into immigration law, and because of that, I was really hesitant to take anything in regards to immigration at all. But, you know, now past that pettiness, I really wish I would have taken an immigration law or an immigration class, because I just feel like it's very important, considering that I do have a lot of family members that are immigrants and that deal with the whole system. And even now at my work, where a lot of the pro bono cases that we get are asylum cases. So having that background in immigration law would have helped. So I really wish I would have taken a class like that. But yeah. So the next mistake is rather silly. This actually just happened a couple months ago, where a coworker told me about this website that I was able to buy glasses, prescribed glasses, without having an actual prescription, because my prescription had just expired. And I was in that weird period where I didn't really have insurance because my work hadn't started yet. So I needed new glasses, and they told me about that website. And I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And when I did, I went on the website and started trying to order my glasses. They were asking for the measurement between my two eyes, my two pupils, and they gave me they told me that I could print out a piece of paper where they had a kind of like a ruler, so I can measure the distance. But I guess I did it wrong, because when I inputted the number that came out, and I got the glasses a few weeks later, I started getting a really bad headache, and not the normal headache where you get a new glasses. I just could tell that it was supposed to be my prescription, but everything was still kind of blurring. So I decided to just return it. My insurance finally hit, and I was able to go and actually to the eye doctor and get everything properly measured. But yeah, that was a bit silly mistake that I did. Fortunately for me, I was able to get my a refund for the money that I spent. But yeah, it was something stupid. Another silly mistake I made last year was actually by Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I think. I don't even remember what the name is. I've never been a Call of Duty person growing up. I grew up playing Nintendo. Like, to me, playing New Super Mario Bros. Or Pokemon was my thing. My parents didn't buy me a PlayStation, so I never really had a PlayStation. I don't even think I've ever owned a PlayStation. I think my brother had one for a few years, and I would play that for a few years when I was still living with them. But once I moved out, I never really played PlayStation at all. But I did buy myself a gaming PC a couple years ago, and a lot of my friends in law school wanted to start playing the multiplayer on there. So they convinced me to buy Call of Duty, and I sucked at it. And it was a bad experience overall, because I could tell that everybody around me, all my friends, knew how to play, and whenever we did play, I was the worst one on the team. But the reason why I call it a mistake is that we literally only played like 3 times, and then after that we all forgot about it. So it was a waste of money. I think the game was $69.99, so I literally spent $70 on a game that I played like 3, at most 5 times. I think I played twice by myself so I can get better at it, but I gave up really quickly. It was just a waste of money. The next mistake is a rather petty one. This actually happened when I moved out of my old apartment. I moved from Yolo County to now the Bay Area, San Francisco area. And in that, when we were moving, they gave us like our move out packet, and in it, it was telling us that we would have to pay to be able to, or we would have to pay for the cleanup of the apartment. And they gave us like different categories. There was like, if it was a light clean, it would cost us such and such, a medium clean, heavy clean, whatever. So, me, as the type of person who wants to save as much money as possible, decided that it would be the best idea to just clean the apartment ourselves, because, like, why not? And I would, on the process of moving, I helped my girlfriend clean some of the rooms, but most of it did fall on her because once it was move out day, I was the one that moved everything from one apartment to the other because our move out date and our move in date were literally like the same day. So we had to do it all rather quickly in the same day. So she stayed behind once everything was empty and was able to properly, thoroughly clean everything. She stayed behind with my brother, and they both helped clean the whole apartment as thoroughly and as detailed as possible. And yet, even after that, months later, we still get an invoice saying that they took a portion of our security deposit because they needed to still pay someone to clean the apartment. Which, you know, I felt like that was just a waste of time. Like, our apartment wasn't dirty in of itself, like, it wasn't dirty. It was never dirty. Our apartment was never dirty. So if we had just left it as it was when we moved out and not subject my girlfriend and my brother to do a thorough cleaning of the apartment, we would have probably gotten charged the same amount that we did with us actually cleaning the apartment. So that was just a dumb, petty mistake that I made. That, you know, moving forward, I don't think I'm going to deal with it. I don't think I'm a dirty person. We tend to keep our apartments rather clean. So whenever we do move out of this apartment, I'll probably leave as is, and whatever they do charge me to clean, I'll just pay that, because honestly, it'll probably be it'll still be considered a light clean, even regardless if I do clean or if I do not clean. So what's the point of actually just cleaning if you're still going to get charged? Another petty mistake that I made, it also happened a couple of months ago. I was so upset about this that I actually made a rant video about this, so I'll leave a link around here about that video. But in that video, I go into a lot more detail about what the context of it, I guess. But in this, I'll just specifically say that I had to buy a $300 suit jacket. Not full-on suit jacket. And, I mean, I don't know if that's me, like, if that's a good price. Like, to me, that's expensive because I didn't ever buy suits that expensive. I would go, like, I don't know. I don't even remember exactly. Like, maybe sometimes I would actually find them at Burlington. You know, some suits there where the whole suit would cost me $200, the suit jacket and the pants. But I had to buy a $300 suit jacket because I forgot to bring a suit and I got called into court, and I had to go to a store in San Francisco, where in the financial district where all the, you know, firms are, whatever, which I knew was going to be expensive, but I didn't think that it was going to cost me $300 just for a suit jacket. And I didn't buy the pants because thankfully I had, you know, dress pants on, but I didn't have a suit jacket, and apparently the judge was a very formal one. At least that's what I was told, and I had to go and wear a full-on suit. But yeah, it was just petty and upsetting because, like, it could have been completely avoidable if I had just brought in a suit that day, or if I would have done what everybody around me had told me to do, and that's to just keep an emergency suit in my office. But I didn't do that. I didn't listen to anybody, and I paid the price. But, you know, now there is an emergency suit in my office in case I ever need one. All right, so this next mistake actually happened last month. I had bought tickets to Trevor Noah, to his stand-up, and I was going to go with my brother. I bought 2 tickets. I bought this like a year ago, and honestly, I wasn't really feeling like I wanted to go, but since I already had the tickets, I said, why not? I should already go. If not, it's going to be a waste of money. And the venue was about like a 30-minute drive, and I was really thinking, like, to myself, like, maybe I should just go on the BART, because I knew I was going to have to pay parking in the city anyways, and I was like, it would probably be cheaper to just take the BART and then BART all the way out there, and then eventually either take an Uber or just walk a few blocks to the venue. But and we did that. We did. I ended up doing that, but I consider that a mistake now because, well, first of all, we kind of left late, and that's on me. And I wouldn't even think. Actually, no, I take that back. We did not leave late. We left like an hour before the show was supposed to start. So we get to the BART station, and first we missed the BART, and it took about 10 minutes for the next one to come. Then we hop on, and then halfway through our trip, we stopped, and they told us to get off because apparently a tree fell on the railroads. Like, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but the path was blocked by something. They told us to get off. We had to hop on a bus. That bus took us to another BART station where we then had to hop on another train to then eventually take us to our destination. And that whole ordeal, like, took an extra 30 to 35 minutes than what it usually takes to just get to the city and to the stop that we needed to get to. And once we were there, we were already like late. We still had to walk like 20 minutes because we decided to just walk. And we made it to the show like 20 to 25 minutes late. And it seems like they did have he did have an opener, but the opener wasn't out that long. So we did miss a decent chunk of the actual show. And the worst part is, like, when we got there a little bit late. Like, there was people in our seats, and so, you know, they were actually very polite. Actually, like, we go in, someone takes us in, we find people sitting in our seats. The person that was with us that was helping us find our seats, they told them to, like, you know, these are our seats or whatever. They apparently had the seats right next to us, so I was like, okay, no big deal. They moved, and then we sat down. But before we sat down, the people in front of us apparently they got upset over the commotion, like the fact that we were just asking for our seats, that they just, all of a sudden, nobody was talking to them, all of a sudden they just get up, they turn around, and it's like, oh, you're making all this deal over some seats, and then they just get up and they dip. Because apparently those weren't their seats either. So they had just sat up there to seats that they weren't theirs because it was empty, and they were getting upset that we were getting our seats. And again, they were not the people that were sitting in our seats. They were sitting in a row like below us. So we were dealing with other people. They were nice. They were cool about moving to the seats right next to ours. And then we sat down. But the people that we were not talking to at all, that had no deal in this whole conversation, they got upset simply because we were quietly, very quietly, simply requesting that the people move from our seats. It was stupid, and I didn't let that ruin my night, but the whole BART situation did. So that was a big mistake. And it didn't even cost. It wasn't even like it's been a while since I took the BART. Like, it's been a long time since I took the BART, since I was basically before I went to undergrad. I've been basically in Davis for 6 to 7 years. So it's been a while since I've been in the Bay and actually taking public transportation out here. And BART has actually become kind of expensive. So it ended up costing, between my ticket and my brother's ticket, we could have honestly just paid the parking. That was the whole point of not driving out there, is I didn't want to deal with paying for parking. But we should have just done that, and we would have made it on time, and we wouldn't have to deal with coming back on the BART, which, again, I forgot to even mention that. When we came back, when the show was done, we walked back to the BART station, we got on the train, and the exact same thing happened. Apparently, even after 2 hours of, like, us being at the show or whatever, they still hadn't cleared up the path. So once we got to the other stop, they made us get off, hop on another bus, go to another station, then hop on a train, and then finally make it home. It was, I'm not doing that again. I'm just going to pay for the parking and just deal with whatever I have to deal with the parking instead of dealing with that. Because that was too much for no reason. Next one is a somewhat serious one because my actions, the mistake that I made last year, I'm still feeling the repercussions now. And that's me deciding to get sworn in at my school. Alright, so I just took the bar over the summer, and they just gave us our result back in November, and then after that, they told us that we had to get sworn in. So I wanted to make it a whole ceremony, like a whole commencement, because I wanted my family to be there. So I decided to actually take up on my school's invitation, and they told me that they were going to organize this little ceremony, this little commencement of just people who wanted to show up can get sworn in and bring their family. And I was like, why not? I'll tell my family I want them to come, and we'll make it a whole little special event instead of me just going to like the post office and getting it notarized, right? So I decided to do that, and everything was going fine. Everything was going well. We show up. It was actually rather quickly, honestly. You know, really thinking about it, maybe it wasn't even worth it because we had to drive like 2 hours and a half, and it was still on the work day for me, and I ended up having to work in the car. Like, thankfully, my dad was the one driving, but I was literally there, a passenger, working on the way there because I was technically still on the clock, and there were stuff that I needed to do. Like, I was on an assignment, on a case that I need in projects that I need to finish. But yeah, I was working on the way to the ceremony or whatever. The ceremony in of itself was fine. It was actually really, really short. I thought it was going to be like an hour. It ended up being like 15 minutes. It was really anticlimactic. The whole thing was really anticlimactic. But whatever. The whole point is for me to actually finally be sworn in. So we all took the oath. We were all sworn in. And then we all had to do this little line where we would have one of the judges sign our little oath card that we then will turn in to the state bar. So, you know, I make my little line, I get in line, eventually it's my turn, judge signs the oath card, and I then later realized that she had signed on the wrong part, the wrong section of the oath card, and I wasn't the only one with that mistake. It seemed like I think everybody that I've talked to said that they had signed in the wrong spot. So, none of us really thought it was going to be an issue because we were like, it probably doesn't matter. There's a signature there. That's all that truly matters. That should be enough proof or whatever. Fast forward to now, fast forward a few months. Apparently it is a big deal. Apparently it really, really matters where the judge signs. The judge had signed in the notary section rather than where they're supposed to be signing. And it has yet to be fixed. So as of right now, I am sworn in, but I don't have my state bar number. I don't have the number that tells me, that I am able to show proof that I am a California state barred attorney. And it's not just affecting me, it's affecting a lot of my peers, a lot of my classmates, and it's quite upsetting because the state bar in of itself already takes forever to respond to you. Just so you can see like how long it took them to respond to me. Like I had submitted my oath card back in like the second week of December, and I barely got a response back like a week ago. And the response was that I sent it to the wrong email. Now that's on me. I sent it to the wrong email. That's on me. Apparently I didn't read the instructions thoroughly enough. And at the bottom of the oath card, it tells you which email I'm supposed to send it to. I sent it to the wrong one. I sent it to just the general admissions email. But there's a specific oath card email that I was supposed to send it to. But they got back to me to just let me know I sent it to the wrong email and I need to send it to the right email. And I was like, okay, thank you, I guess. I mean, you could easily forward it yourself, but I guess it's not your job, whatever. All right, so then I submit it. I sent it, and I have yet to hear back. It's been a few weeks now. I have yet to hear back anything. I don't even know if this is going to be an issue with if the judge's signature, her location of where she signed is going to be issue with me because I haven't heard back. The only reason why I know it's an issue is because everybody else that did submit it, as soon as they got their oath card signed and them sending it to the right email, they did get a response, and they have got an email saying that it has been an issue. So I'm honestly just waiting to get an email back saying that there's a problem, and I'm either going to have to redo it or I'm going to have to ask the school to ask the judge to sign it again. I don't know. I really am I'm just waiting to hear back from the state bar before I decide anything. Because maybe I'm the lucky one. Maybe I'm the lucky one that they say, hey, you know what? We've gotten enough of these types of oath cards, and we're not going to make it a big issue, and they just let it fly. But chances are that I will get an email back saying that I'm going to have to redo it or get it fixed. So, yeah, that mistake, I should have honestly just gotten a court. I should have honestly just scheduled an appointment with a judge out here in the city and made it a little event with just my family and nobody else. Because I have friends who've done that, and that was actually honestly even cooler than what I did back in my school. I honestly think that would have been a better experience than what I ended up doing at my school.